What's up, my Mind Your Money business folks? It's me yet again with another video. I know I missed a few days last week, and today is Monday, August 18th, and I'm coming a little late, but I'm still in Hawaii on vacation. But I wanted to report on what happened today in the stock market, and the title says Dow S&P 500 slip as Wall Street seeks clarity on Fed rate cut path. Ukraine talks. So let's see what happened. And as always, hopefully you're in the market and not trying to time the market, because that is simply impossible to do. So what happened today? It says U.S. stocks closed the session little changed on Monday as investors turned their focus to a high-stakes U.S.-Ukraine meeting, kicking off a week dominated by a Federal Reserve speech that could define the outlook for interest rates. We all know if interest rates go down, more money will be pumped into the stock market. Also, more businesses will request renewal of business loans. People will go out seeking more personal loans for mortgages, so on and so forth. It makes borrowing money at a cheaper rate when interest rates go down. So it says here the S&P 500 fell just short, I believe. Yeah, it just fell just below the flat line, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average declined nearly 0.1%, coming off a second straight winning week for the major gouges. The tech-heavy NASDAQ eked out slight gains for the day. So it says geopolitics were front of mind on Monday as Vladimir Zelensky and European allies spoke with President Trump in Washington, D.C., with the Ukrainian president facing U.S. pressure to accept a peace deal that favors Russia. The meeting follows Trump's encounter with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, at their Alaska summit. But markets are also looking ahead to the main event this Friday, Jerome Powell's comments at the Jackson Hole Symposium on Friday. His speech likely to be Powell's last as Fed chair will be closely followed for clues to the path of monetary policy after inflation and retail data prompted Wall Street to temper rate cut hopes last week. The annual gathering of central bankers often brings signals of key shift in federal thinking, and its policymakers are facing a dilemma over what action to take. The release of minutes from the Fed's July meeting on Wednesday will set the stage for Jackson Hole in a week light on economic data. Meanwhile, second quarter earnings sessions is winding down as Palo Alto Networks and Blink Charging reports on Monday's dockets, with most of the reports in. The results have been mostly positive. Highly anticipated earnings from Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's are due later this week, likely to provide insights into consumer spending. So shares of Intel fell after Bloomberg reported the Trump administration was contemplating a 10% stake in the chip maker. Last week, shares jumped after reports that Trump was considering using funds from the CHIPS Act to invest in the company. And that's pretty much it from today's stock market news. Not a lot. It just says a little change, based on what Jerome Powell is going to say from Jackson Hole soon. So let's get into what some of the stocks did today. So my information technology ETF FTEC gained 70 cents today, closing out at $208.85. Nvidia gained $1.56 today, closing out at $182.01. Tesla gained $4.60 today, closing out at $335.16. Palantir lost $3.14 today, closing out at $174.03. Broadcom lost 58 cents today, closing out at $305.76. My S&P 500 ETF SPLG lost 2 cents today, closing out at $75.69. Meta lost $17.86 today, closing out at $767.37. Meta is still doing great. Apple lost 70 cents today, closing out at $230.89. And that's pretty much it, people, for today's stock market. It's pretty hot. As you can see, this is my view here in Hawaii. Yeah, I have the windows open. But either way, that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot. Hopefully you guys are investing. As always, get out of debt. Get out of personal loan debt, student loan debt, credit card debt, car loan debt. Get out of all forms of debt, because debt is holding you back. Debt is keeping you from investing into your future. Debt is keeping you from creating generational wealth. So get out of all debt. And the only way that you can get out of debt is by coming up with a plan. And that plan is called a budget. So you can start telling your money where to go, so you can stop trying to figure out where it all went before the end of the month, right? So you create a budget. And when you create this budget, stop all forms of investing. I follow the Dave Ramsey plan, the snowball effect, right? Start listing your debt from smallest to largest and start paying those off. Don't worry about don't worry about the interest rate. Just pay them off from smallest to largest, and it creates a snowball effect. And the more money that start to free up, the bigger the snowball becomes, and you're able to pay off the larger debts sooner rather than later. So you pay off these debts, stop all investment, you pay off your debt. Once your debt is paid off, now you can start investing up to 15% of your income back into your retirement. You can pay into your kids' 529 plan for their college. You can create 3 to 6 months of living expenses for your emergency, called your emergency fund. Then if you have a mortgage, you can pay off your mortgage. You have all this free cash now. If you don't have a mortgage, save up to 20% down for that home. Like if that home is $400,000, save up $80,000 and put down on that home and finance that home for 15 years. And more than likely, because you're debt free, you have your emergency fund, you're investing 15% of your income into retirement, your kids' college fund is set up, you more than likely pay off that home in 5 to 7 years. Boom. Now you have options to do whatever you want to do, right? But the plan is yours to undertake. It takes discipline, and it also it calls for action. It's not something you just think about. You have to do it at some point. So yeah, that's what I did. That is what I suggest you guys do. So I'm going to end this video. Yeah, so you guys take care. Have a blessed day. Peace.